realize what their path is in life, not taking them away from their path, but actually trying to get them to understand self again. And in the process of getting to know self again, this opens up a path for them to find out who they really are.
And so this is the Sweat Lodge concept that is a part of Brother to Brother. And all of this taken together, you believe that not only is a support kind of organization, but also is a very, very good mentoring organization. And of course, what we'll do, we're going to take this first commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this short commercial break. The topic is Brother to Brother, a mentoring organization. And since our first segment, we've been joined by Mr. Bruce Bryant. And Mr. Bruce Bryant is also a member of Brother to Brother, and he has a peculiar position of elder in this organization as well as a mentor in the organization. And we will find out more about Mr. Bryant later on. But let's continue, Mr. Henderson, the information that you were giving us earlier about the Sweat Lodge. I think you've indicated that it plays a significant role in this particular organization. Let's give you an opportunity to continue that.
Well, yes, sir. Once again, like I said, the Sweat Lodge has been used as a vehicle for us to heal brothers. It's also a purification process. When we say it's a purification process, it's allowing us to go in and heal brothers from different types of problems they're having. It could be drug, it could be alcohol, it could be family problems. So we've used this vehicle to try and help brothers get back on their path. Now, with the Sweat Lodge, it's not, I guess you want to say, it's not subjected to being to one particular kind of God or particular race, creed. It's very open. We have different brothers that come from different backgrounds, Muslims, Christians, the Yoruba faith, and our mission is not to take brothers away from their goal, it's to keep them on their goal, because we realize that with this Sweat Lodge process, there are going to be many, many different people on their paths that's going to have problems, and we don't want to take them away from their path. We want them to shine light on their path or go back to where they're from and shine the light that they learned from the Sweat Lodge. So what we plan on doing is taking the Sweat Lodge, keeping these brothers on their path, and making sure that we can teach them positive things. But once again, like I said, it's not bound to any particular God, creed, race, or religion. It's very open to whoever wants to come.
And the whole idea, I guess, Mr. Bryant, is to deal with mentoring. What do you, Mr. Bryant, as a person who's involved with mentoring these young persons especially, what do you find to be one of the major issues that our young people face today?
Well, I think probably the major issue is that as African-American men or men in general, we don't know ourselves. And as through the experience of the different members that have come into our organization, each one of them brings a unique perspective. That perspective we try to carry on or to pass on to those that maybe not just younger, but those men that are searching. And that really is the major part of our organization, for those men that are searching, especially searching within, and those that can, once they find a way of expressing it, to be able to pass that on to someone else.
Go on.
One of our unique perspectives, I think, is that, you know, because of the varied backgrounds of the different organizational members, is that we are able to get younger men, teenagers, and able to give them the perspective that we have been given through our life's journey, and then to be able to carry on from there and pass it on to men younger than themselves.
And so this is a real support kind of organization. Is that what we're saying, Mr. Henderson?
Yes, sir. It's a support because, once again, as Dr. Bakari stated, we start off as a vibe group of just men meeting together where you possibly couldn't talk to maybe your wife, you couldn't talk maybe in a religious organization that you belong to. We opened up a forum where other men had the same problems and said, hey, maybe I can help you out and maybe we can help each other along this path. And so it developed from a vibe group into a Sweat Lodge to where we have young and older men to where we can share a common bond with each other. Because we realize that amongst African-American men, we don't have a bond. So we try to make that bond together so that we can help each other with each other's problems.
And of course, that's part of the mentoring process too, is it not, Mr. Bryant?
That is true. And to bring forth that spiritual nature that all of us have, and to highlight that in what we try to do in the Sweat Lodge. I mean, like I said, we're not trying to change anyone's religion. I mean, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Yoruba, it doesn't matter to us. It's a matter that you bring yourself and everything that you can contribute to us and pass it on to someone else, because all of us together benefit and to become greater. The sum becomes greater than the whole.
Well, now, how do you identify, how do you attract people to this organization, Mr. Henderson?
Well, sir, usually it's a real simple process. You know, it just comes through conversation. If I run into somebody and we happen to talk, and I can kind of sense or feel through the conversation that they might need some help or they need somebody to talk to, I say, hey, why don't you come on out and join the brothers and see what we can try to do for you? Because once again, our mission, is it's not about a certain group. We try to help any and everybody. So it's usually through conversation most of the time that I find out who needs help.
And do you find that, Mr. Bryant, that many young men are uncertain of themselves today and need this kind of assistance, this kind of help?
Well, not just younger men. You know, I myself, when I joined the organization, the difference that is made within me is just an amazing transformation. So I would recommend that anyone that has an interest in knowing a little bit more about themselves to be, and it's not something that, like I said, we're trying to change, you know, your outward or anything. We're trying to change what's within you, and because you want to change. And anyone is more than welcome to join, to come out and sweat with us. We do it once a month on the second Saturday of the month, as usual, but we encourage those men, no matter what age range, from the youngest being so far being about 11 to the oldest being, you know, in their 50s. So we try to bridge the gap and to bring those experiences. And what you can learn from a younger person that I have found is far more than I've been able to learn from myself, by myself. So togetherness and bringing all these brothers together, I think, you know, has been extremely positive to everyone that has been involved.
Mr. Henderson, why don't you, could you give us sort of an illustration of a sweat lodge and how that is carried on?
Sure. Usually how a sweat lodge starts off, we usually meet in the afternoon, and it's usually in a remote part of the area, like a forest or in the woods somewhere. When we usually go out to that remote area, we have what we call a firekeeper, and we have what we call the actual priest of the lodge. What we actually do is, the firekeeper is the one that actually lights up the fire, heats up the rocks, and then the priest actually, he's the one that conducts the sweat lodge and makes everything run smoothly. In the Native American tradition, what we actually go into, what the sweat lodge is actually called, is called an inipi. And in the Native American tradition, they say that this represents the center of the universe, that everything took place within the center of the universe, within the inipi. And actually, within that inipi, there's a hole in the ground, which they call the turtle, which we place the rocks inside of Mother Earth. The firekeeper brings the rocks into the sweat lodge so that when all the brothers come in, they can sweat. But the firekeeper role is very, very important, because he develops a relationship with the fire to make sure that the spirit is right coming into the lodge. With the inipi, it's the priest's job to make sure everything runs smoothly inside the lodge, so that we have a right spirit in there as well, too. So putting those two things together, everybody has an important role, from the priest to the firekeeper and the brothers that are involved. We have one person that might chop the wood or do different types of things. So everybody's role is very important when it comes to the sweat lodge.
So the sweat lodge is something that sort of holds this whole element and whole concept together. And of course, what we'll do when we come back for our final segment is to deal with some of the needs that this organization have. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. The topic is brother